Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News at 9. We start tonight with breaking news as more groups join the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers.
The Sumner County boy with autism has been missing since Monday morning, so 5 days. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller is live tonight in the Shackle Island community around Beach High School, where searchers are targeting different areas.
Yes, multiple agencies from across the state continue to look for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Now, we did speak with some of his neighbors today, and one of them told us that detectives have been at their home every day, but today was the first time they actually came inside of their home to search hallways, closets, and every little crevice inside of their home. Now, we also spoke with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, who told us that they were using hound dogs to search around Sebastian Rogers' home. A dive team from the Franklin Police Department is also assisting in this search. Director of Sumner County EMA Ken Widener says that they've expanded their search north, south, and west. Widener says the community has been amazing, supporting first responders during these long and hard days.
Every day people come in, I see them unloading, and they're supposed to be keeping a list of names and places who are donating food and water and everything, and so we can thank those when we get Sebastian found.
Widener says the rain impacted their search a bit, but they still have a lot of people in the field and need to find the right spot. Now, the FBI, TBI, Sheriff's Office, and Franklin Police Department, as well as other agencies, are assisting in this search. Reporting live from Sumner County, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage now on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Concerns grow about whether this story can have a happy ending with each passing day. And joining us now to offer some insights into cases like this is retired FBI agent and author Scott Augenbaum, who makes his home here in Middle Tennessee. Scott, glad to speak with you again. And I have to believe over the years you've been involved in cases very similar to this.
I've seen this happen time and time again. It's heartbreaking. We're asking what happened, because kids just don't disappear in thin air like this.
Scott, as an investigator, what would you be thinking about in this case after 5 days of searching and really no credible signs or sightings for a missing 15-year-old?
Yeah, that's why the investigators are going out. I'm telling you, behind the scenes, they're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're scouring the neighborhoods. They're asking for help. Because one of the things we need to rule out, was this an abduction? And this is the number one thing which is on everyone's mind right now. Was this child abducted?
Now, when you say that, at some point law enforcement has to consider not only were they abducted, but was it a stranger? How rare are cases like that?
We don't really see that happen a lot. A lot of times when these abductions happen, it's usually that somebody they know. But now they're trying to rule out everything over here. We can't leave any stones unturned.
Now, toward that end, we saw investigators return to the family home today with dogs, all manner of searching going on. And essentially, when you've exhausted everything else, the area around the home and the neighborhood and the school and all that, do you have to almost go back to the beginning and start again?
Got to start from the beginning. You got to, and then spread out from there. These things sometimes they go on and on. I've been involved with, things that were kidnappings to missing persons. So it takes a lot of effort over here. And everyone's heart's breaking over here. The weather's cold. We've got to track this down.
You have to think about that too. Initially, you think, okay, we'll find them quickly. But as the time goes on, the child has to eat, they need shelter, and all sorts of other questions come up.
Especially with a special needs child. This is every parent's nightmare. And I can tell you right now, there are a lot of law enforcement officers working constantly, tracking down every type of lead.
Retired FBI agent and author Scott Augenbaum. Scott, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
In Operation Crime and Justice tonight, also happening in Sumner County, the search is on for 2 escaped inmates. Sheriff's deputies say these 2 men, Kenneth Campbell and William Rutherford, are still on the run. after breaking out of the Sumner County Jail last night in Gallatin. The TBI just added Rutherford to the agency's most wanted list. A third inmate, Elvis Bush, is back behind bars tonight. If you see these two other men, though, you're asked to call police. No word on exactly how they escaped.
New tonight, the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department is renewing its call for your help and information, trying to find a man who disappeared 6 years ago, long time back. Parker Morris was last seen in mid-October in 2018. He was 27 years old at the time. Deputies do not know his last known location. Morris is about 5'7". That time he weighed about 180 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. If you know anything about his disappearance or whereabouts, call the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department.
In Operation Crime and Justice, search is also on for a suspect in repeated break-ins out at Nashville school. Metro Police asking for your help to find this guy. It's 25-year-old Roy Knowles. Officers say that he broke into Cora Howe Exceptional School multiple times over the last month. Knowles may be driving a gray 2009 Toyota Camry with Tennessee tags. If you know where he is, call police.
And Metro Police could use your help with another case, trying to locate a man wanted in connection with a shooting that left his roommate critically wounded. 21-year-old Teddy Cooper is tonight charged with attempted murder and aggravated assault after a shooting last night at an apartment complex in Madison. Investigators say that Cooper shot his roommate 2 different times during an argument between their live-in girlfriends. The victim remains in critical condition tonight, the roommate. If you have seen Cooper or know where he is, call Metro Police.
Right now, a bipartisan push to incorporate gun safety education into Tennessee schools debated on the House floor. The bill is heading to the Senate after passing 69 to 22. And for the first time this session, we're seeing some Democrats echo a conservative notion as reason why it shouldn't pass.
A bill aiming to bring a gun safety course into the classroom, ensuring kids will know what to do if they ever come across a gun, is up for debate this week. And surprisingly, it wasn't Democrats versus Republicans on this one. It took some Democratic infighting to lay out all the views from the left.
Before we introduce a firearm into a classroom, I know it can't be live under this bill, and I know it can't have ammunition under this bill, but before we introduce a physical firearm into a classroom and mandate it, why are we depriving parents of the opportunity to say, I'm teaching my child about this at home?
Some Democrats say the universally held Republican view touting parental choice should be applicable here, especially when it's being used in other aspects of education.
All I'm asking is for us to let parents opt out. Parental choice. Let's not re-traumatize our children if parents feel like this is not right for them.
But then there are some Democrats that believe this type of preventative intervention is needed.
Our people need gun safety classes in my communities. How many children's lives would have been saved had these gun safety classes been made available?
Because an Amish family goes where they go in a horse and carriage does not mean their children should not be taught the rules of safety when crossing a street with automobiles. This bill is aimed at safety, and this amendment is hampering the proper distribution of the safety material to those who need it most.
Under the guidelines of this bill, kids will not learn how to shoot and no live guns will be used. This will solely be an educational safety course, and the classes will be mandatory, just like the basics of reading, writing, and math.
Well, the bill calls for the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency and the Department of Safety to teach the class and determine what grade level this content is suitable for.
Which begs the question, what do you think? Should gun safety classes be taught in Tennessee schools? And we're talking all the way through grade 12. Again, the question of where they begin still up in the air. 851 votes are in, and over 79% say yes, we think this would be a good thing. We'd like to have your thoughts in there. If you haven't voted already, the poll's live. Scan the QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. It'll take you to our X poll. Our handle is @FoxNashville, and we will show you some updated results from this poll later in the newscast. Kylie.
Hey guys, not the most beautiful day. We did see those scattered showers throughout the mid-state on and off through the afternoon and then continuing into the evening hours. We'll continue to see this until dawn tomorrow. As you can see down on Broadway, taking a look at this roof cam, we are seeing some remnants of those wet roads down there, but that is not stopping people per usual from getting outdoors and getting out on Broadway. Here's our other roof cam out here in South Nashville. You could start to see that skyline peeping through earlier today. We could not see any of that because it was so overcast. Now keep in mind, we are looking at the potential for some dense fog heading into tonight. So if you are going to be heading out on the roads, keep in mind you could see reduced visibility. So you want to turn on those low beam lights, drive slowly, and also proceed with caution. Taking a look at our weather headlines here, Saturday night we could see another round of this fog. We're looking at warmer conditions heading into this weekend, temperatures in the 70s, and then early next week we're looking at another round of some storms.
Gate in Madison. I'm Blair Durham. Life doesn't stop when someone hits you. Insurance companies could put us out of business if they wanted to. All they have to do is be fair. But they're not. I can help.
Check this out, going one-on-one with a Nashville boxer who's really making a name for himself not only around here but nationwide.
Fox 17 News photojournalist Ryan Brooker with Nigerian-born Eftobar Apache sharing what he hopes all of us can discover within ourselves.
Nice catch. I've been to the future and I'm back. I know exactly what I saw. I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Nice work.
Everything is for a reason.
Nice double.
I was born in Nigeria. My dad was a huge Mike Tyson fan. You know, and I saw the passion he had for boxing. I was a tough guy in the streets, fighting and doing all those things. Then I fell in love with the sport boxing. I said, why don't I switch street fight into boxing? And that's exactly the motivation and the mindset, the thought that pushed me into boxing. With boxing, I can become a champion and be like Mike Tyson one day. And my first fight was a knockout in the first round. And that went viral. And everybody was like, who is he? We never saw this guy before. We don't know this guy. And that motivated me and made me feel like this is my game and this is my sport. My dad was a big support then because he saw the dream in me. And he told me one day, he said, I know you're going to make it. I know you're going to be a world champion. That changed my life. I was like, whoa. I made some money and I was happy. And that was when everything changed. I became the captain of the national boxing team. I represented Nigeria for like 5-6 years, and that was how I came to America. God said, my ways are not your ways. So he broke my shoulder. He tore my shoulder, and that was how I left Texas. It was really hard for us. We struggled until we met Dr. Elrod. The Spirit said, this is the guy that will fix my shoulder. So we came down to Tennessee. I told him, I said, I like here, I want to be here, you know. I like this relationship and everything. I really like Nashville. I don't think I want to go back to Texas. So he picked up his phone and he called Jared Houston.
That's it.
He started a boxing program with me and it was fantastic.
10 seconds.
It's not just the training.
You don't feel you are.
He took me as a brother, you know. The love, he introduced me to his family. He called his dad, and when his dad came into the boxing, it was different. I'm a changed guy, I'm a different guy. I can't wait to get back in the ring and show the world what we have.
Nice.
You know, we want to use this story, this opportunity to make friends and inspire the next generation.
And the new cruiserweight, unified world champion, Effie Tobar Apache.
Yes, so it is.
So it is. Living the ends. Living the ends.
And switching gears here to all of this rain. I was talking to Megan earlier, our anchor. She said she loves it, but unfortunately that's all going to come to an end for just a moment. So good news for some of us. Additional rainfall totals for the rest of the evening are going to be very light. We're only looking at less than 1/4 of an inch. You're seeing from your radar loop here, we did see those scattered showers throughout the mid-state, mainly in the afternoon and again in the evening hours. Again, that all will come to an end, and we'll get a little bit of a break from all of this stormy weather, and then it will impact us again early next week. But the good news is we're looking at a nice dry weekend, so we could see some light showers heading into the overnight hours, but again drying out for Saturday and Sunday, especially by dawn. Everything should be pushed east out of our viewing area for tomorrow. Taking a look at your forecast here, this is going to be a great day to get outdoors, whether you're out on a hike or a walk with your dog. We will see those dry conditions along with those 60s for much of the day. That afternoon high will be around 3 p.m. We're looking at 64 degrees, but as you can see, heading into Sunday, where you're looking at much warmer conditions, those mid-70s. Now Monday, we'll continue to see those 70s, but this is where we're looking at another chance for some of those storms. This system moving in, mainly impacting us Monday evening into Tuesday evening. You're seeing that more widespread coverage, especially as we head into Tuesday around 7 p.m. So that's something we'll watch out for. Also, we're looking at the chance for some scattered thunderstorms during that time as well. So that will be the best chance for the week. We'll continue to see those chances later, though, especially heading into the end of next week as well. So no widespread severe threat, but with that building rain through the week, we could see the potential for some localized flooding by the end of the week. So this is something that we will watch out for. The best way to keep updated with us for your specific area, specific to you, again, that localized flooding, will be to download our Code Red Weather app. We have this scan code that we'll have later in the show, so you could just put your phone up to it, and then it will download straight to our app.
I'm Atrell Nashar in Washington, where the Biden administration has just launched an investigation into smart cars and national security. Coming up with
a getaway sales event. Get in and get away now before these deals are gone. Get 0% APR or up to $1,500 bonus cash on the Hyundai Tucson. But hurry, these offers end soon.
New tonight, President Biden wants the Commerce Department to investigate smart cars and parts coming from other countries like China.
Fox 17 News' Atra El Nashar here tonight to show us what's at stake and really why we should care. And we'd like to hear from you on this issue, so you can scan the QR code that will appear on your screen during this story.
Cars are now essentially smartphones on wheels. At least that's how the White House puts it as the Biden administration tries to get ahead of how smart cars could pose a threat to national security.
Some countries who are not necessarily our allies, like the People's Republic of China, are getting really good at making these cars.
Cars that know a driver's location, patterns, connects to their Bluetooth, can even read text messages, and sometimes collect biometric information.
Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo says cars that have been made in other countries that are currently on American roads are not using Chinese technology. But if or when they are, could be sending data back to Beijing every minute of every day.
Not to mention the fact that your car can't run if the software is disabled. So imagine a world where with the flip of a switch, all of those cars could be disabled.
China is responding. Its foreign ministry spokesperson says they urge the U.S. to stop overstretching the concept of national security, stop its discriminatory suppression against Chinese companies, and uphold an open, fair, and non-discriminatory business environment. U.S. concerns about smart cars similar to concerns about TikTok and its data collection potentially being used by China.
Data is the coin of the realm. Those who have the best information have the power.
Power to conduct espionage, steal intellectual property, influence elections. China already has restrictions on American car companies, banning them from testing electric and self-driving cars on Chinese roads. The White House tells us the Commerce Department's investigation won't be focused on particular companies, just those in, as they put it, countries of concern.
They're asking a lot of questions about, the technology inside the vehicle, what kind of data is collected, who gets access to that data, how safe is that data stored.
Depending on what they discover, it could lead to a federal ban on Chinese auto software. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar reporting.
Well, during that story, we had a QR code on the screen linking up to this poll asking the question, do you believe that Chinese technology is a threat to our national security? And here are the results. Almost 300 votes have come in. 84.4% say yes, 15.6% say no. Thanks for voting.
Take a look at this, a dramatic video showing a semi dangling off a bridge up in Louisville, Kentucky. Can you imagine if you were in that thing and then somebody else? Looks like a Robert or Cisco truck. Took rescuers about 40 minutes to get to the driver and carefully get her back up on the bridge to safety. You could see it essentially hanging precariously between a couple of those steel beams, and there she comes up. Looks like with a firefighter coming up on a cable. This woman, the female driver, taken to the hospital largely as a precaution. Looks like she's okay.
Can you even imagine? No. Well, hitting the gas on a solution to Nashville's traffic troubles. The progress that's been made.
32 months available. Some scratched, some did it, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Favorite story?
Tonight, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell is moving forward with his plan to try to ease traffic congestion plaguing Music City.
Well, the mayor wants a dedicated source of funding to go to transportation and infrastructure. His administration is currently getting input before a referendum in November. Right now, Metro Council members are meeting with transit leaders and people in the community to see what they want. A new study shows Nashvillians are very concerned with the state of transportation.
Imagine Nashville findings show that transit is popular. 74% of their 10,000 plus survey respondents strongly agree that investing in citywide public transportation is an important priority for the future. By comparison, the national average for similar sized cities is 19%.
Well, the same study finds people believe reliable transportation is key when it comes to independence and feeling like you belong in a community.
Now, something else on the mayor's transportation wish list that is making our roads safer. Toward that end, NDOT is adding 25 new neighborhoods to its traffic calming program, and those are indicated in the red dots that you see all over the map. As you can see, a majority of them are, kind of here in the downtown area, and there's a big group of them over here in East Nashville. What does this mean? Well, likely lower speed limits in your neighborhood and other traffic calming things like speed bumps. Obviously, because of the large concentration of these in the downtown area, these are the two areas they're hoping to have the biggest impact the soonest.
Former Titans All-Pro safety Kevin Byard was traded to the Eagles last season, and that stint in Philly lasted just 10 games. According to NFL Network, the Eagles are releasing the safety after less than a season with the team. Now, Byard was set to have a $14 million cap number this season, and well, releasing him now saves the Eagles just over $13 million. The Titans are in need of veteran talent in their secondary. Publisher of Titan Insider Terry McCormick gives his thoughts on a possible return to the two-tone blue.
This team does not have very many players under contract in the secondary currently. The only safeties of note are Elijah Molden and Amani Hooker. So a reunion with Kevin Byard, probably not likely, but a situation where maybe at the right price wouldn't be a bad idea.
Now you can hear that full interview with Terry McCormick this Sunday on Sports Overtime at 10. Ever since the Nashville Predators got their butts kicked by the Dallas Stars last month, the club has been playing some of its best hockey of the year and has now won 7 games in a row.
It's going to be like this the rest of the season. There's going to be, it's going to get emotional. It's going to be highs and lows, and can we get back to our game and
keep on heating up? Preds now stay at home for their homestand. They'll host the Colorado Avalanche tomorrow night, 5 p.m. puck drop at Bridgestone Arena. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Thank you, Jill. It's your money, and this week our partners at OpenTheBooks.com are looking at the city of Nashville's most recent annual financial report. It shows metro government is about $1 billion in debt. That breaks down to about $4,500 per resident. Sounds like a lot of money, but in 2019 that figure was $20,000 per resident, so moving in the right direction. In fact, that debt per person right now, the lowest that we have had it in Nashville in 8 years.
Much of that is due to these generous health care benefits that Nashville promises its retirees. It recently changed how it's delivering those benefits, but it still has to sort of make up for what it owes.
Now, toward that end, in a ranking of the top 75 cities in America in terms of fiscal health, Nashville is number 48.
New tonight, former President Trump in federal court. A judge is considering when to start the trial surrounding mishandling of classified documents. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor with what's next.
From a campaign visit to the Texas border to a federal courtroom in Florida. Friday, former President Donald Trump sits for yet another hearing. This one related to his alleged mishandling of classified documents. In 2022, the FBI seized boxes of sensitive documents from Trump's home in Florida. He was charged and for now is scheduled to stand trial in May. But Thursday, Trump's lawyers, who've said the trial should be held after the election, provided an alternative date, suggesting starting August 12th, while special counsel Jack Smith asked for a July 8th start date.
If he has to go on trial for one of these federal cases before the election, they'd rather it be the Mar-a-Lago documents case than the case about the 2020 election.
His federal trial on his alleged attempts to overturn the 2020 election is up in the air. After the Supreme Court announced this week they'll hear arguments on whether Trump is immune from prosecution for actions he took while in office.
If you don't have immunity for a president, you will not be able to function properly. You will not be able to do the right thing for the country.
In addition to the federal case, Trump also faces state charges in Georgia for election interference. However, on Friday, a judge there is hearing arguments on whether to remove the lead prosecutor, which would throw that entire case into question. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
We've been talking about those rainy conditions, but I also want to talk about how we are going to be warming up for this next weekend. As of right now, temperatures sitting in the upper 40s in Nashville, 49 degrees. It's a little bit rainy out there as well. Remember, I told you guys that that should end by dawn. So in the next several hours, we are looking to completely dry up for the rest of the weekend. Also, we have this little warming trend with us for the next 7 days or so. So we'll continue to see those 70s Sunday into Monday. Now keep in mind, we're also going to continue to see those above average temperatures according to the Climate Prediction Center from March 9th through the 15th. So we'll continue to see those warm conditions. Also February, now we are in March, but in February it was the warmest, the 7th warmest February on record in Nashville. So it did feel very warm, and those numbers are showing that as well. So precipitation outlook is showing from March 9th through the 15th. That same time from the Climate Prediction Center, we're also going to see more rain. Now with this warmer weather, also that's just a reminder that summer and spring are just right around the corner. Also daylight saving time in just 9 days. We will begin to set our clocks and we'll get more daylight starting at 2 a.m. So we will lose a little bit of sleep, but daylight saving time, so longer days are just right around the corner.
Some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
Well, continuing coverage tonight as mourners remember the University of Georgia nursing student the police say was murdered by a man here in the U.S. illegally.
Migrant crimes are quickly becoming a major political issue, certainly in the presidential race. Fox 17 News' Janae Bowens now with an in-depth look.
Loved ones gathered Friday to honor the life of 22-year-old nursing student Laken Riley. She was found murdered last week at the University of Georgia. Jose Antonio Ibarra, a Venezuelan man who is in the U.S. illegally, is accused of killing her.
Now they're getting the public pressure, which is what it's going to take to get President Biden to use the executive authority he has to secure the border.
Riley's death has further turned migrant crime into a political football, with both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump visiting the border earlier this week.
The United States is being overrun by the Biden migrant crime. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country.
Trump blamed crime on Biden's border policies, although some argue the data doesn't support a migrant crime spike. Meanwhile, Biden focused on border security.
They desperately need more resources, need more agents, more officers, more judges, more equipment in order to secure our border.
Some Democrats, like Congressman Robert Garcia, have reportedly said the immigrant crime narrative is racist and not true. But New York's Mayor Eric Adams sees the problem with what he calls a small number of migrants being violent and dangerous. He's now calling for a modification to the sanctuary city status.
For those who commit serious crimes in the city, they should be able to be deported after they serve their time. And I continue to believe that as a former police officer.
A new poll from Pew Research shows 57% of Americans say the large number of migrants seeking to enter the country leads to more crime. That same poll found 80% of Americans think the government is doing a bad job when it comes to the migrant influx. Now, with this negative public perception, border security is sure to remain a top campaign issue in the presidential race. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens.
And rain is beginning to move out of the mid-state. We're going to have all of those details.
Don't let them tell your story. I can help. Call us at 615-242-9000.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
March is National Reading Month, and the focus across many American classrooms right now is on early childhood literacy.
And as reporter Chris Papps explains, students who struggle to read by third grade could face lifelong challenges.
When it comes to children learning how to read, most experts agree the pivotal year is third grade.
So they move from learning how to read to reading to learn other things.
Emily Mitchell is with Silver Learning, based in Baltimore County, Maryland. She says children who are not reading at grade level by third grade often fall behind and never catch up.
If they're close to third grade level, they'll be okay, but if they're not, it has honestly lifelong effects.
Maryland's General Assembly in 2011 created a task force to study school dropouts and their impact on the criminal justice system. The report found a connection between third grade reading levels and the adult prison population. The task force found 23% of below basic third grade readers will likely drop out of high school. 23%. For comparison, 9% of children with basic reading skills and 4% of proficient readers will likely drop out of high school. The report then looked at Maryland's prison population and found 57% of inmates under age 25 were high school dropouts.
I think you can identify little ones that are struggling very young.
Dr. Carrie Wright is the interim Maryland State Superintendent of Schools.
You know, we're living in a new era in public education in Mississippi.
In 2013, Wright was hired as the Mississippi State Superintendent of Education and presided over what's been called the Mississippi Miracle.
It's not a miracle. It's hard work over a long period of time.
The same year Wright started in Mississippi, the state passed a law mandating every third grade student must read at grade level before moving to fourth grade, and it appears to have worked. Since then, fourth grade reading scores in Mississippi have gone from far below the national average to surpassing it. According to Education Week, 25 states and the District of Columbia either allow or require districts to hold back students who are not reading proficiently by the end of third grade.
The answer is a balanced approach. If a school really doesn't think a child is ready for fourth grade, then it's not a terrible thing to hold them back, but they do need extra support when they go through third grade again to make sure that they'll be successful the second time through.
I'm Chris Papst reporting.
Almost 2/3 of fourth graders in the U.S. struggle to read at grade level. Fox 17 is partnering with Reading is Fundamental, RIF, and our parent company, Sinclair, for Sinclair Cares supporting children's literacy. Please scan the QR code that you see on the bottom of your screen right there on the left so you can make a donation to our virtual book drive.
All right, Kylie, we are heading into kind of a soggy weekend.
Well, actually, it's going to be soggy just for the remainder of the night.
That's the way it's been the last couple of weeks. One day good, one not so much.
Yes,
right, a mixed bag
sad,
of sorts.
though, right? If it goes away.
I mean, I just love the cozy weather. Well, I'll take the sunshine too. Give me a little bit of everything.
Okay, so we'll please us both because I like the warm, dry weather, which we'll see this weekend, and then we'll please Megan as we head into early next week.
I like when you do the weather.
Yeah, I'm just giving everyone a little bit of good news.
An Oprah over there.
We will be seeing those storm chances Monday night into Tuesday night, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Even some thunderstorms. I know Megan likes those as well. Taking a look at our current radar, though, we are seeing that rain that we had all day, those scattered showers throughout the mid-state, starting to exit the viewing area. It's all really pushing east, but we're still seeing a little bit of that. You could see here on Broadway, just saw a few people down there with their umbrellas. Of course, that's not stopping people from getting outdoors, nice and busy out there. It will be dry if you are in town and you plan to go out there this weekend, and even in those 70s for one of the days. So I'll talk about that in a moment. But as you can see, those current temperatures sitting in those upper 40s right now in Nashville, a little bit cooler over in the east and also to the south of us as well. Those overnight lows will be very similar to what we're seeing as of right now. We're looking at those mid to upper 40s throughout our viewing area. Now, one thing to keep in mind tonight, in case you missed it earlier in the show, we will see some patchy, dense fog. So if you are going to be out on the road tonight into tomorrow morning, keep in mind that you could see reduced visibility. So you want to turn on those low beam lights, drive slowly, and proceed with caution. We're looking at another round of this as we head into tomorrow night through Sunday morning. Taking a look at our future track here, again, that rain is now pushing out of our viewing area. We'll continue to see that cloud coverage early tomorrow morning, and then the sun will start to break through in the afternoon hours. We are looking at those 60s for tomorrow, and then those 70s heading into Sunday. So that warmer weekend before those storms return for us early next week. Those afternoon highs for tomorrow will stay in the 50s to 60s for much of our viewing area. But taking a look at our extended 7-day forecast here, as you can see, those overnight lows will stay in the 40s to 50s for the rest of the week. We are looking at the best chance for that rain Monday night into Tuesday night, but those chances continue for late next week.
Just ahead, getting ahead of the learning curve, the push for free preschool across Tennessee.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. Over the last year, home insurance premiums have skyrocketed. So coming up Monday on Fox 17 News This Morning, we're taking a close...
These offers end soon. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
State lawmakers are considering a bill to provide free preschool for children across the state. It would be open to all 4-year-olds. State Senator Charlene Oliver and Representative Afton Bain are the sponsors. If passed, a 9.5% privilege tax would be imposed on select big tech companies to fund the program. Crisis in the Classroom is our commitment to exposing problems and finding solutions for issues within our schools. If you have a story you think we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com. You can also call our tip line at 615-266-4149.
Looking ahead to Sunday morning in Nashville in Focus, this week our panel digging into the House Education Reform Bill, which cleared its first big hurdle earlier this week. Republican Party leaders are behind the bill, which includes raises for Tennessee teachers, fewer state-mandated tests, and lower health insurance premiums. It also contains a universal school choice component. Question is, will the rank and file in the legislature go along, and can the state afford it?
So a fiscal note came out. It's like $350 million, and it's likely to go up. That's the fiscal note for the first year of the bill.
I think the concern was that information is not getting out because the unions don't want that to get out. Superintendents may not want that to get out, but let's give the public the full, all the information.
Now, in addition to education reform, topics this week will include Mark Green's 7th District congressional race, in which he is now back in, and more questions about Tennessee's Education Commissioner Lizette Reynolds. That's Sunday morning, 6:30 a.m. on Nashville in Focus.
Well, finally, it's good to be a millennial. Why, after years of
taking medication for type 2 diabetes and weight management, and subsequently suffered injuries, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Bart Durham Injury Law at 615-242-9000 for a free case evaluation.
New tonight, good news if you're a millennial. That generation is expected to end up the richest ever.
Now, that's once they hit the year 2044. Gonna take a minute, but a research group expects millennials to end up with $90 trillion in assets over the next 20 years. Good financial portfolios getting some of the credit. Millennials are classified as people born between 1981 and 1996.
Her name was Alexis, and her family started a foundation called Missing Alexis. Now they have a new suite with a very special meaning. I'm Liz Bonus. We're going to tell you about it just ahead.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
We begin with breaking news in Sumner County, where additional crews have joined the search for missing teenager there with autism. 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers reported missing from his home on Monday morning.
Well, ever since, we've seen people from all over Tennessee come together to search for him. The Franklin Police Department dive team is the latest group to join the search. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from the Shackle Island community, where people there are praying for his safe return.
Multiple agencies from across the state are working tirelessly to bring Sebastian Rogers home. Now, we spoke with the director of the Sumner County Emergency Management, who says in just the first 2 days they covered more than 2,000 miles by foot. Now, the director of Sumner County Emergency Management, Ken Weiner, says that they've expanded their search north, south, and west. He says the rain impacted their search a bit, but they still have a lot of people in the field and need to find the right spot. The FBI, TBI, Franklin Police Department, Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and other agencies are assisting. Today they were searching around Sebastian Rogers' home with hound dogs. Weiner says that the public can help in the search too.
And we're going to ask you again to search your property in the morning, search it in the afternoon, search it all the time, every day if you want to, or if you can. Pay attention to creeks, streams, tributaries, ponds, and keep, keep a lookout for them.
A dive team from the Franklin Police Department is also now assisting in this search. Now, Widener says that they aren't giving up and are still working really hard to bring Sebastian Rogers home. Reporting from Sumner County, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In Operation Crime and Justice, staying in Sumner County, sheriff's deputies there are searching for two of these three men who were all escaped inmates. The three broke out of jail from Gallatin last night. Now, Elvis Bush recaptured quickly. Search continues now for the two other guys, Kenneth Campbell and William Rutherford. Rutherford just been added to the TBI's top 10 most wanted list. If you see the men, call police, don't approach them. Deputies are still trying to determine exactly how they got free.
Meantime, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle coming together to push through a bill to incorporate gun safety classes into Tennessee schools. The bill passed 69-22 on the House floor, and now it moves to the Senate. The bill up for debate this week surprisingly did not divide politicians down party lines. Some Democrats believe in this type of preventative intervention, but others believe parents should be able to opt out.
Before we introduce a firearm into a classroom, I know it can't be live under this bill, and I know it can't have ammunition under this bill, but before we introduce a physical firearm into a classroom and mandate it, why are we depriving parents of the opportunity to say, I'm teaching my child about this at home?
Under the guidelines of this bill, kids will not learn how to shoot and no live guns will be used. This will solely be an educational safety course, and the classes will be mandatory, just like the basics of reading, writing, and math.
Obviously, this is a talker, and we want to know what you think about this. Should gun classes, safety classes as described, be taught in Tennessee schools? We've got a little over 900 people weighing in. The number is fairly consistent since the beginning. We've got 79%, a little better than that, saying yes, we think this is a good idea. We will continue to put up questions like this where we get your opinion. Just keep an eye on our X page. Our handle is @FoxNashville. Thanks to all those who voted tonight. In the economy, some good news for burger fans. The fast food chain In and Out Burger is planning a new potential location in Goodlettsville right next to the Rivergate Mall. Metro Planning Department records show the site that they're considering is located between the Dillard's store on the north side of the mall and Gallatin Road. In and Out Burger would include a drive-through location there, indoor dining, and a covered outdoor sitting area.
Good evening. Scattered showers on and off throughout the day and really throughout the mid-state. We saw this in the afternoon and another round this evening. Taking a look at our current radar as of right now, 10 p.m. just after, we are seeing a little bit of rain that just passed through the Nashville area, and we saw that on our Broadway roof cam as well. A lot of people out there with umbrellas. That is starting to push east and out of our viewing area. Clarksville seeing a little bit of this as well. Throughout the remainder of the night, we're only looking at less than 1/4 of an inch. We could see another round of some scattered showers overnight, but most of that is going to come to an end by dawn. Now keep in mind, we're also looking at the potential for some areas of dense fog this evening, so this will cause reduced visibility. We want to turn on those low beam lights, drive slowly, and also proceed with caution. Now you see this on our roof cam here in South Nashville. We're not seeing much of a skyline. We're really starting to lose that in the last half hour, so just another reminder that we'll see that dense patchy fog that will continue tomorrow night as well. The good news is we will begin to dry out. As I just mentioned, we will see that cloud coverage early tomorrow morning, but then that sun will begin to peep through later tomorrow in the afternoon hours, and we're also going to see much warmer conditions heading into Sunday.
Well, looking ahead to this week's full measure, you may be in trouble if you need to see a medical specialist quickly. That's right. Reports show it's becoming harder and harder to get an appointment with specialists, not only here, but across the country. If you live in, say, Washington, D.C., you need a heart checkup, need to see a cardiologist, you could find yourself waiting nearly 5 months to get an appointment. In New York City, reports show wait times topping 9 months.
Can you say why this is happening or explain some of the factors behind it?
Yeah, so first I think you're correct, and when people have done surveys of people in different industrialized nations, what we're describing, the average American in terms of getting into their regular doctor in a timely manner has about the same difficulty as in other industrialized nations, or in some cases it's worse here in the United States.
Our Cheryl Atkinson investigates these long wait times to see a doctor Sunday morning, 7:30, right here on Full Measure.
I'm Kayla Gaskins in Washington, where we're seeing the transcripts from the closed-door testimony from Hunter Biden and James Biden regarding the impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. The big takeaways straight ahead.
And almost 2/3 of fourth graders here in the U.S. struggle to read at grade level. Fox 17 News partnering with Reading is Fundamental and our parent company Sinclair for Sinclair Cares, supporting children's literacy. Just scan this QR code on your screen to donate to our virtual book drive.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. Over the last year, home insurance premiums have skyrocketed. So coming up Monday on Fox 17 News This Morning, we're taking a closer look at what's causing the
Monday at 6 on Fox 17.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Homebuyers.
Continuing coverage tonight as the transcripts from the president's brother James Biden's testimony are out. This following the Thursday release of Hunter Biden's transcripts.
Now, both of these depositions are a part of the House impeachment inquiry into the president. Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins now with some of the big takeaways.
James Biden, Joe Biden's brother, admitted to Congress he used funds from a firm with ties to the Chinese government to write a $40,000 check to repay a loan to Joe Biden back in 2017. Transcripts show his testimony also contradicts other witnesses, as he insisted Joe Biden never met with Chinese energy company officials. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden admitted he sometimes put his dad on speakerphone while at business meetings, and that his dad occasionally attended lunches he had with business associates. The first son, however, adamantly maintains that Joe Biden had no involvement or financial gain from any of these deals.
And I guess that we're just to believe that Joe Biden goes to all of these meetings for the food?
The question of Joe Biden's involvement in his family members' businesses is at the heart of this impeachment inquiry. Did his family sell influence and access to one of the most powerful American politicians to foreigners? Democrats who reviewed the transcript say Republicans still have no evidence.
They've overreached here. They have clearly overreached, and they have not corrected course.
Some Republicans, though, disagree, taking issue with Hunter's excuses for some of the evidence against him, like text messages he sent to a Chinese businessman demanding money, telling the businessman, "I'm sitting here with my father." When asked about this message, Hunter said he didn't remember sending it, that he was drunk and probably high, and more embarrassed of this text than any other he'd ever sent.
He has amnesia, he's drunk, he's high, and apparently he just can't go anywhere without daddy, but that's normal for a 40-something-year-old grown man. He's trying to play us for fools.
Following Wednesday's testimony, Hunter Biden's lawyer slamming the GOP's approach to the hearing.
It seems to me that the Republican members wanted to spend more time talking about my client's addiction than they could ask any question that had anything to do with what they call their impeachment inquiry.
House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer says the next steps for the impeachment inquiry are public hearings. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Still to come tonight on Fox 17 News at 10, a delay in former President Donald Trump's document trial.
Discover more ways to save big every day. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
Billionaire Elon Musk is suing ChatGPT maker OpenAI and its CEO. He claims the company broke contractual agreements by straying from its original goal of developing artificial technology for, quote, the benefit of humanity, not profit. Musk helped start the company back in 2015, but stepped down from its board just 3 years later. Some doorbell cams sold by Amazon and other sites could open the door to spying. Two consumer researchers claim the doorbell cameras made by Econ Group could be controlled by a company-operated app. People with an account just need to pair the cam with their device to view footage. They can even lock out the owner from the device. Walmart says they've removed the cameras. And Major League Pickleball and the Professional Pickleball Association are finally merging. The deal brings together over 150 professional pickleball players who will compete in multiple events throughout the year. The CEO of MLP calls the move the next phase of growth for professional pickleball. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Continuing coverage tonight as former President Donald Trump's classified documents trial is expected now to be pushed back from its originally scheduled start for late May.
And as Fox News' David Spunt reports, the question of how far is now the big issue.
Former President Donald Trump left the federal courthouse in Fort Pierce, Florida, after hours of arguments over when his classified documents trial should begin. Judge Eileen Cannon originally scheduled the trial for May 20th, the last legs of the primary election, but today signaled it would be delayed after both sides agreed to move things back on the calendar. Special counsel Jack Smith in the courtroom today watched as his team agreed to move the trial to July 8th. Trump's team fired back, arguing it's unfair to hold the trial during the height of a campaign, pleading to start it after the election in November, though Trump's team says the earliest they can be ready, August 12th. Special counsel attorney Jay Bratt said the trial could even take place in the fall, arguing that his team is in full compliance with the DOJ policy that says prosecutors should not take investigative steps, criminal charges, or statements for the purpose of affecting any election. The Supreme Court has put a pause on Trump's other federal criminal case in Washington, D.C., where he's accused of trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The justices will decide before July whether Trump can even face charges based on presidential immunity.
If you don't have immunity for a president, and I'm not talking about only me, if you don't have immunity for a president, you will not be able to function properly. You will not be able to do the right thing for the country.
Each side estimates it will take about 5 weeks each to present their case, meaning that a trial that begins in mid-August could render a verdict just days before Election Day. In Fort Pierce, Florida, David Spunt, Fox News.
Wildfires raging across the Texas Panhandle have already destroyed as many as 500 homes and other buildings. Texas Governor Greg Abbott offering a grim update today.
When you look at the damages that have occurred here, it's just gone, completely gone. Nothing left but ashes on the ground.
The Smokehouse Creek Fire, as they're calling it, now the largest in the state history in Texas, burning some 1,700 square miles. At least 2 people have been killed. Ranchers are dealing with considerable cattle loss as well. Governor Abbott spoke about the need to improve air support to slow or stop these fires in the immediate future and beyond. Experts warn there is still a significant threat for new fires in the forecast coming up for the weekend, and they are urging everyone in Texas to prepare.
No new starts. Over 90% of wildfires are human caused. We've got to get the message out. No new starts. We do not want to divert resources from our existing fires onto a new start fire.
Governor Abbott has issued a disaster declaration for 60 counties in his state already. He's working on a federal disaster request right now. President Biden says FEMA will reimburse both Texas and Oklahoma for wildfire fighting costs.
Well, no, most snow reports dealing with accumulation in inches, but the Sierra Nevadas could see up to 10 feet of snow this weekend. The most powerful storm of the season is bearing down on Lake Tahoe. Yosemite National Park and a couple of ski resorts are also shutting down for safety precautions ahead of the worst conditions. The blizzard warning lasts through Sunday, and it's not just the higher elevations getting dumped on. Communities at lake level could see 3 to 6 feet of snow and wind gusts topping 70 miles per hour. Stark contrast on what we're dealing with here. Perspective, right?
Yes, the West Coast right now is dealing with much cooler conditions than they're used to seeing, and then we will be seeing the quite opposite. We will see those above average temperatures the next couple of weeks. Taking a look though, right now it is a little bit chilly. We will have that warming trend as we head into this weekend. We were all talking about on the break that we cannot believe how many people are outside. We know that Broadway's always pretty busy on the weekend, but it just feels extra busy tonight, especially we know those roads are wet. It's chilly. We saw a guy down there with shorts on. Those current temperatures are in the upper 40s in Nashville, a little bit cooler to the east of us, and then areas to the south as well. Taking a look at those overnight lows, not going to drop much from what we're seeing right now. We're seeing very similar conditions that will continue into the overnight hours. So we'll see those 40s throughout the mid-state. Going into tomorrow, we will warm up into the 50s to 60s across the board. We're looking at a high of 64 in Nashville, seeing very similar conditions to the south of us as well. Taking a look at our dog walking forecast for tomorrow, we did see a lot of that rain today, scattered showers in the afternoon and evening hours. But as we head into tomorrow, we will see those dry conditions and will warm up as well the next 48 hours. So tomorrow we're looking at a high in the 60s, 64 by 3 p.m. So it's going to definitely be a weekend that you want to get outdoors. I use this if you want to get out on the water, that background on Sunday, because we will see those mid 70s, and it is supposed to be partly sunny as well. Now heading into Monday, we will start to see those storms move in, continuing into Tuesday night. And we'll see those off and on storms throughout next week as well. The best chance though for that widespread coverage is going to be on Tuesday and then again at the end of next week. So you want to download our Code Red weather app, because although we won't see any widespread severe threat, we will see building rain through the week. So the potential for localized flooding could be there by the end of the week. Taking a look at that extended 7-day forecast, the warmest conditions are going to be on Monday. We could also see a little bit of a breeze as that system moves through. Taking a look at those overnight lows, we're looking at those 40s to 50s, and you see those rain chances really almost every single day next week.
One former Titan is...
Some did it, some not, but all with big savings. Town & Country Ford in Madison.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Nashville Preds.
Former Titans All-Pro safety Kevin Byard was traded to the Eagles last season, and that stint in Philly lasted just 10 games. According to NFL Network, the Eagles are releasing the safety after less than a season with the team. Now, Byard was set to have a $14 million cap number this season, and well, releasing him now saves the Eagles just over $13 million. The Titans are in need of veteran talent in their secondary. Publisher of Titan Insider Terry McCormick gives his thoughts on a possible return to the two-tone blue.
This team does not have very many players under contract in the secondary currently. The only safeties of note are Elijah Bolden and Amani Hooker. So a reunion with Kevin Byard, probably not likely, but a situation where maybe at the right price wouldn't be a bad idea.
Now you can hear that full interview with Terry McCormick this Sunday on Sports Overtime at 10. Ever since the Nashville Predators got their butts kicked by the Dallas Stars last month, the club has been playing some of its best hockey of the year and has now won 7 games in a row.
It's going to be like this the rest of the season. There's going to be, it's going to get emotional. It's going to be highs and lows, and can we get back to our game and
keep on heating up? Preds now stay at home for their homestand. They'll host the Colorado Avalanche tomorrow night, 5 p.m. puck drop at Bridgestone Arena. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Her name was Alexis, and her family started a foundation called Missing Alexis. Now they have a new suite with a very special meaning. I'm Liz Bonus. We're going to tell you about it just ahead.
If you've taken Ozempic, a prescription medication for type 2 diabetes and weight management, and subsequently suffered injuries, you may be entitled to compensation. Call Bart Durham Injury Law at 615-242-9000 for a free case evaluation.
New tonight, a mom who started a foundation after losing a child now has a suite that is dedicated to parents who need to grieve.
And as Fox 17 News medical reporter Liz Bonus explained, she hopes that it will become a model for hospitals across the country.
The Missing Alexis Foundation has been assisting families experiencing pregnancy and infant loss for years. This new suite now part of their mission to help change the conversation.
Alexis was our daughter who was stillborn in July of 2004.
When Lisa Loudon's daughter Alexis was born nearly 2 decades ago here in Kentucky's St. Elizabeth Hospital, she never dreamed she'd be standing in a suite, the butterfly suite they now call it.
The hands of love and care of this staff of this hospital.
Dedicated to parents who need time to grieve the loss of a child.
We used existing space within our unit, and we created a room that's a little bit less clinical, a very special area for families to be together with a baby they have lost.
Now, the Butterfly Suite stands as an example of a national model, a safe place for grieving parents. Ironically, the hospital chose the very room for the Butterfly Suite where Alexis was born. Lisa didn't know it until she saw the space.
It was just a room that held grief and sadness for us, and I really didn't ever want to come back to it. But in talking with some of the families that we've served, they really wanted a space that was going to offer hope, something that didn't seem quite so tragic, if you will.
Now, Lisa says she could not be more grateful to the staff and the team here that showed up this week for the baby room blessing. She now knows that when other parents need the butterfly suite,
it's a very lonely island to be on, and we hope that they know that it doesn't have to be an island. There is a whole community that is out there, many of whom have suffered these same losses, and they're willing and ready to embrace them.
If you'd like more information about this foundation, we have it for you online. They do not charge families for support services, and they're funded by donations. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, and set us up for the weekend. Rainy start, sunny finish?
Yeah, we're actually rainy ending, and then so tonight we'll see that rain really move out of our area, continuing into early tomorrow morning. But that's all going to be gone for Saturday and Sunday. We're looking at nice and dry and much warmer conditions, especially Sunday, a great day